In this video, I'm going to be talking about one tech item I think everyone should own, whether they're into tech and they love tech, they're a diehard tech fan, they love technology, or whether you're just a casual fan. Maybe you don't like technology, maybe you have some technology, but you're not diehard into technology. I think this is one tech item everybody should have, whether you're a tech enthusiast or not. Now, what I'm about to talk about is a product that is technically part of tech because it does have technology in it. But then again, technically, if you were to go by off of like people who review technology, YouTube channels that review technology, if you were to ask people what technology is, this might slip under the radar because, well, it's technically tech, but technically not tech, not traditionally tech that you would think about. Example like smartphones, tablets, computers, game systems, headphones, things like that. It's something totally different, but I think every single human being should have one, regardless of if you're into tech or not into tech, no matter what age you are. I think almost everybody should have this item. Now, what item am I specifically talking about? I'll go ahead and let you guys guess of what item I am thinking about. I'll give you about 10 seconds and then I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys what item I'm talking about. Okay, starting now. Okay guys, time is up. And speaking of time, I am talking about a wristwatch. If you're not wearing a wristwatch, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. Of course, a lot of people out there are going to be like, why do you need a wristwatch when my cell phone or my gaming system or whatever I carry on me at all times has a clock on it? That is true, but the convenience of having a watch, in my opinion, is much more better. One thing that bugs me in public, especially when I'm out eating dinner with somebody, whether it's my family, my friends, or eating by myself, one thing I'm not a fan of people using their smartphones or cell phones or any electronic device while they're eating dinner. Dinner is a time to be eating food, so why do you need to be on your smartphone, on your tablet, your game system, etc.? Because 90% of our lives, we're using that technology, and can't you just wait a little bit after you're done eating dinner to do it? Even if it's to check the time, I still think it's kind of a nuisance in my opinion. It doesn't bother me all that much, but it does kind of bother me. Now, if you don't know, I'm actually wearing a watch on my hand right now. I started wearing a watch like recently, and I'm going to keep wearing a watch because I think they're just a timeless piece. They're more convenient because do you really want to actually pull out your phone every time just to check the time? And it's a little bit slow. You still have to turn it on, and battery on phones are not the best, even if you get a high-end smartphone. Yes, they last hours on hours on hours on hours, but also that's actually a little bit waste of battery just to turn it on and check the time, and you can just have it in your pocket at all time. For instance, somebody comes up to you and says what time it is, then you have to pull out your smartphone, you may end up dropping it, you may have to turn it on, it may be low on battery, the screen brightness may be too low, etc. It's just nice to glance down real quick and say, oh, it's 4 o'clock, and then go on with your day. And the nice thing about watches is they literally last years, of course, unless you buy a smartwatch. Of course, smartwatches are great in themselves, but I'm just not a big smartwatch user just because I don't want to worry about charging it all the time. Of course, charging it every night or every other night's not really a big deal, but then again, they are distracting because you are getting notifications on your smartwatch all the time. But that's really for another video. But like I said again, watches pretty much last forever, whether you get a watch that runs on a traditional battery or whether you get one that's solar powered, or they even make watches that have a wind-up mechanism in them, so as you're walking around, they're actually getting energy from movement, so you literally never have to worry about sunlight or a battery. They just basically move. They basically power themselves through movement, which is really awesome. And those ones could literally last years on years on years on years. Even ones with batteries. Overall, the watches are just a very nice piece. I think everyone should have. Whether you're buying it for a fashion statement or whether you're buying it to actually read the time, I think they're very, very nice. Also, of course, you already know, you can buy watches that actually have a waterproofing on them. They have other stuff on them. So overall, I would highly invest in getting in a watch, in my opinion. I think they're just a timeless piece and you can never go wrong. But yeah, and the nice thing about watches is if you don't want to go crazy expensive on it, you don't have to spend over $100. There's a lot of watches on the market that are actually very, very inexpensive. Whether you go to Walmart, Kmart, Target, things like that, you can actually find a watch and they're not expensive. The one I'm currently rocking is a G-Shock watch. Now, granted, I did pay up for my G-Shock. I paid about $120 for my G-Shock, but the nice thing about my watch is the fact that you can actually beat the living hell out of it before it snaps. So that's one thing. Unlike a smartphone, if it dies or if you drop it, you're pretty much out of luck. But like if you buy a rugged watch, you can literally beat the hell out of it and it's going to survive. And watches are a thing that'll last forever. You may think that they're primitive technology by now. Who really cares about watches? But I think they're just so convenient. And with everyone relying on time, no matter what you're doing, time is so important that I think everybody should own a watch, in my opinion. So that is one tech item I think everyone should own, regardless if you're a tech enthusiast or not. And no matter what age you are, I think everybody should own a watch. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out, guys.